5 minutes or so. But let's get to the Super Chats. One of them was with Chris, and Chris was saying now that Texas and Oklahoma are on their way out of the Big 12 towards the SEC after one more year, how would you rank, and I don't want to do all 12 of the remaining teams, but how would you rank the best athletic departments among the rest of the Big 12?
Gosh, I mean, like an off-the-cuff thing, this is not going to be what I would answer if I had like a couple hours to pour through, you know, the latest updates on facilities. Like, we have a loose idea on some of them, like Texas Tech, or, you know, some of the others that have occurred here recently, obviously Baylor.
I would say it has to be,
like,
when I look at the
facilities.
I would say facilities.
I'm talking just facilities. Like, I don't know, though. Like, that's just what has come across my page. You know, I've been updated, whether intentionally or unintentionally, on what's going on at Baylor, what's going on at Tech. You know, K-State's got things in the works.
Oklahoma State's got a lot of building.
Oklahoma State's
you
got
mentioned
a lot
Tech
of
and
stuff.
Baylor.
So, but I don't know, like, where they all stand together. So that's what I mean is, like, off the cuff, the answer would probably be different from studying and actually looking through, like, what everything is.
I would think, and this is not studying, this is, to me, it's hard to argue with what TCU has done.
Yes.
With football in the championship game, regardless of this unbelievable route. Men's basketball made a trip into the tournament. Baseball is in Omaha, and they're up pretty big. They're going to play at least an opportunity to get to the next level of that tournament. With all due respect to women's, Tech in their track and field. Basketball was down because of the drama.
Well, let's just go, like, the strength of the schools in order right now, how you view them, and, like, that includes athletic department, that includes the facilities, and, like, just what you think about them. I still think sans OU Texas, obviously. Let's not include – are we including the new four? Because I don't have as much of a grasp on them just yet in terms of –
all of them bring strengths to the table.
Right.
Let's go ahead and discuss. Let's get through the first remaining 8 if you want.
Okay.
And we don't need to spend more than 5 or 6 minutes on this, but we'll get through the list. Chris, thanks for the Super Chat.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put mine together here, actually. But, yeah, I think it just kind of depends on what you're looking for in some cases, and a lot of it might be recency bias as well. But I'm just sitting here in my head trying to put together all of the schools. So you have TCU, Kansas. Who am I missing here? Iowa State's got to go somewhere. I'd say TCU's number 1. Let's start there. Right now, I don't know this, and I'm sure there's a graphic out there from their athletics department that has put this together already, but, you know, they were one of a few or one of none, I don't remember, that had, you know, qualified for CFP game, had played in the NCAA tournament, and then had also made the College World Series. I think they might have been the only one, or maybe like one of 2 that did that, but I mean, they've now won they're about to win their second game in the College World Series. They won a playoff game. Like, they've not only gone there, but they've won games. And I don't know how often that's happened where you've been able to do that. So I think just the way that they're set up right now, I mean, it's hard to argue with the program that's in a big city like Fort Worth is. And even if it's not the most massive city, it's still bigger than most every other city in the conference, and it's still right there next to Dallas.
They are one of the few in a big city college programs that has a niche within the city.
Yes.
Fort Worth, Dallas-Fort Worth, we know is Cowboys, Rangers, Mavericks, whatever, but it's big-time college football. They're not the number one thing in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but they have been on the radar because of their success, and especially the run they had recently. When Patterson was there, they were a pretty good topic, where a lot of times in a major market that's hard to do, and they have put themselves on the map. With this year, doesn't mean they haven't had success before. Jamie Dixon, a couple of nice years in a row at TCU in men's basketball.
Yeah, so I'd have them, I think, at number 1.
They do need to upgrade. I know they just redid the stadium recently, football. Basketball's
great basketball
arena, Dickey's Arena, and also the one they have. Baseball's really nice, and we've been on their campus where we've seen all the other facilities, tennis, etc. They do a nice job.
But see, that's what I mean is I don't know every facility for every team where it is. Yeah, no, that's what I mean is that right now it's going to be a slightly different answer than if, again, we had sat there and studied it. So, yeah, I'd have them at top. I'd probably put K-State number 2 right now. Just because of the kind of momentum that they have with basketball, with football as well. Again, don't know exactly where they fit in the facilities race and all those types of things, but I think I'd have them at number 2.
All right. There was a time when in the discussion, even with Texas and Oklahoma in the mix, Baylor would absolutely be a part of it. But this year, football was disappointing. Basketball ended, again, that first weekend for the second consecutive year. And then also baseball didn't make the Big 12 tournament. This is not a year to really try to prop them up. They've had about a stretch where they've been really good, and overall for the last 8 to 10 years with a couple of things along the way, 1-11, 2-7. But they're not a part of that discussion right now. We can even ask Mac a little bit about. We have asked him about that. Let's go. What do you think? Oklahoma State or Tech? Kansas, West Virginia, Iowa State. Those are the ones left.
Well, where are you putting Baylor? Is that a
I'm going to put Baylor right now. I'm going to say among the 8, I would put them. Their facilities are fantastic.
I'm taking them over West Virginia. I'm taking them over Iowa State. I'm taking them over Oklahoma State at the time, or at the moment. I'm taking them over Texas Tech still at the moment. I'm taking them over, and I think that's about it. So, yeah, I might have them at number 3 or number 4 there.
Texas Tech's football ended with a nice run at 8-5.
Yes.
Basketball was disappointing. Baseball's good. They're always good. They have the auxiliary or peripheral sports, the non-revenue sports that are also really, really good, especially what they do in track and field. And I'm not going to get into a pissing match about tennis and golf and et cetera. Everybody up and down when it comes to that. Oklahoma State, of course, has a great history in golf, but we're talking about right now.
Yeah, and I know Tech's got the new stadium additions, but Baylor's also doing the indoor, and that's what I mean. We'd have to get in there and compare that and all that. I do think this is a year where Baylor's got to be careful. I think that could easily flip. Texas Tech jumping over them or some others jumping over them if they're not careful. But I do think their major successes are recent enough, and there's still facility momentum. And, we don't know what the hell to expect as far as football goes this year. So that's going to – we'll find out where they really belong here in the next few months. But I think they're still got some lasting fumes from, a year or two ago that's helping them out right now.
Mick Stevens, TCU, is the only college in history to win a college football playoff game. Of course, that's been going on since 14. Win a basketball playoff game, the NCAA tournament, and also win a game in Omaha.
That's what I suspected. Yep. That's what I suspected. So that's a very cool honor. I knew that they were close to that. I just didn't know if they were completely alone in that. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, they're definitely number 1 right now. I'd say K-State 2. I think Baylor, Tech, although, like I said, that could flip by the end of football season because I do think it's not that much of a gap. My question here is, I feel good about that 4, but where do you place Kansas within this 4?
Well, it's a great – Vernon, my good friend Vernon, who always loves it when we talk about other things besides the Big 12. Athletic departments and facilities are 2 different things. KU is just now starting – their stadium rebuild because of the momentum with Coach Leipold. So that's hard to put them too high, even though Allen Fieldhouse trumps almost everybody. But it's a great point when you say that, Vernon, because their football stadium is just now kind of well, it's not just a dream. We know what they're going to do with it. Tech is in the middle of adding more. Baylor's there's done. Oklahoma State has been rebuilding T. Boone Pickens Stadium and is a really great place to play their games and also a tough place to win, too.
Texas Tech's got a lot of great momentum right now, but that's momentum. That's not proof in the pudding. Here's our football Big 12 championship, and here's our, but I think that they've got all the potential in the world. But, yeah, Kansas has obviously been there, done that in basketball forever. Their football program's the best. It appears to be in the best shape it's been in a really long time. So I don't know. I don't know exactly where to slot them in relation to Baylor. I think I don't know. TCU, K-State, Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech,
Oklahoma State.
Does that seem like a fair 5?
Yeah.
But I could be talked into flipping Baylor and Kansas, I think, or I don't know. I'll leave Kansas there, though.
Let's put it this way. No matter what you say or I say or what, no one is going to be happy with it because but at the same time, that's why it's a great discussion. It's a hell of a discussion, and thank you, Chris, for asking the question on the Super
I think
Chat.
Here's my order, and granted, subject to change, but I'll go TCU. That one I don't have a doubt about. K-State I feel is a very solid number 2. I'll go Kansas at 3, Baylor 4, Tech 5. I'll go Oklahoma State at number 6, Iowa State at 7, and I think West Virginia is a pretty safe bet for that last spot. What do you think of that?
Their basketball arena is really good, and I think they.
I think it depends on how you weight things.
I think it's also with West Virginia. it's because not a lot of people get to go there.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you don't get to experience them,
right? But I'm not talking just facilities. I'm talking like the whole thing, the department, the facilities. And I know Vernon or whatever pointed out that they're different, but that was our question. So again, that's why I kept reiterating. We don't know the exact layout of every facility for every school in its most up-to-date form, so we're kind of loosey-goosey playing with it here. But I think West Virginia gets weighed down by just simply what all's gone on the past year, the athletic department side of things. They've changed over ADs. They've got a football coach in the hot seat. They just fired their basketball coach. Baseball, that was awesome. Baseball, great. But besides that, as far as your big sports you're talking, they've had some rough seas here as of late, and maybe some of the facilities trump that, but again, I would need to study that more. So for now, I have them pulling up the rear just because the Neil Brown and Bob Huggins stuff, I mean, that's been some bad stuff.
Yeah, the Huggins thing. Oh, by the way, we got, golly,